In the new book, Unknown Valor, Fox News host Martha McCallum pays tribute to the Marines who fought in the Battle of Iwo Jima during World War II. That book being released today, and Martha is kind enough to join us for a few minutes this morning to talk about it. Morning.
Good morning, Dave. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, congratulations on the book, first off. And talk at first about the kind of personal reasons that led you to start this whole project.
So when I was growing up, my mom shared letters that were written to her family and her father, my grandfather, from her first cousin, Harry Gray, who was an 18-year-old Marine on Iwo Jima. And I was always very moved by these letters. And when I decided to write about it, it began a journey that led to sort of digging into letters from other Marines on Iwo Jima, and I started to dig into their stories as well. So the book is a military history of Pearl Harbor to Iwo Jima, because I wanted people to understand the reasons that the Marines ended up on Iwo Jima, the progression of the stepping stones, battles of the Pacific Theater, and why Iwo Jima was such an important destination to hopefully turn the tide of the Pacific War. So it's a very personal story, so you get to know these young men while sort of experiencing and learning the history of the battles, both on the U.S. side and also the Japanese side as well.
And we talk so much as we should about the bravery, but it's books like this that really drive home the point of how monumental a challenge this was for people who were so young and so out of their element with no one's ever had an experience like this before, to have to take this on. It's remarkable.
It truly is. You know, I mean, think about the fact that, you know, just imagine where we are today in the country. And think about the fact that 16, 17-year-old kids were lining up around the block. Imagine that happening in your hometown today, where all of the kids in the high school are lining up because they want to go to war. They want to defend freedom. They want to defend the United States. Some of them, one of the people that I spoke with, Rondo Sharf, who was in the Navy, he was 16 years old. He snuck into his church and stole a baptismal certificate and forged it to make it look like he was 18 and signed up. So at the age of 16, he ended up driving a Higgins boat, a landing craft, onto the beach at Iwo Jima and ended up being injured as his boat hit an obstruction and broke his sternum and part of his face. I mean, and he, at 95 years old, is still making trips back to Iwo Jima to honor the veterans that were lost on that island. There's just so many remarkable stories.
I know that's another important part of books like yours, too, is to honor those veterans who are still with us and get those stories while we can still get them. So many of those warriors have been so reluctant, for whatever reason, over the decades to maybe talk more, you know, modesty or whatever. So it's so important to do this right now.
You know, these are the most humble gentlemen that I have ever met. None of them wants to be considered a hero. Many of them are in their 90s now, of course, because it's just, you know, that long ago that World War II was fought. But I had found that when I approached them, once they get into that stage of their life in their 90s, they do start to open up a little bit about what happened, and many of them had not spoken about it. Their family said to me, you know, I've never heard him talk about it. I've never heard him tell these stories before, which was really remarkable. And I think, you know, for me, two of the individuals that I met writing the book, Charlie Gubish, who lives in Pennsylvania, who's 101. I talked to him on his 101st birthday the other day, and George Colburn, who's in Florida. Both of them knew my uncle. I mean, it was extraordinary that we found these two individuals. And when I called George Colburn in Florida and brought it up with him, I said, you know, I'm Harry Gray's niece. He just went silent. He said, I think about Harry every day.
Wow.
And so it really has just been an incredible journey for me personally, and I hope it's a history that a lot of people will appreciate, and I hope that it will make people think about the heroes in their own families and wanting to learn more about their stories and dig in, learn about these people, because it will surprise you in so many ways.
Yeah, wonderful stories and important stories. Unknown Valor. Martha McCallum, thank you so much, and good luck with the book.
Thank you so much, Dave. Great to talk with you.